You ever convince yourself something was just a tiny slip, only to realize later that slip cracked your whole life open? That's what this story is. And even now, remembering the ending makes my chest feel tight. The night it happened lives in my mind like a permanent watermark. The dim glow of the bar lamps. The murmur of strangers talking. Cheap whiskey scraping down my throat. Every detail still lives there. I wasn't supposed to be out. Not at that bar. Not on that night. And definitely not with him. His name was Eric. He wasn't my boyfriend. He wasn't even someone I cared for. He was just the kind of man who sensed when someone was unraveling and stepped in like a blanket thrown over shaking shoulders. Earlier that evening, I'd had one of the worst arguments of my life with my boyfriend, Josh. 4 years together, sharing a home, believing we were building something real, and suddenly our future felt like sand slipping out of my hands no matter how hard I tried to hold on. Eric listened. That's all he did. No advice. No interruptions. Just quiet attention, the kind I hadn't felt from Josh in months. And when tears started sliding down my cheeks, Eric brushed his fingers across my hand. I told myself it was nothing. Just comfort. Not betrayal. One drink became several. Several became too many. And before I could think clearly, we were stumbling toward his apartment. A silent march toward a disaster I already knew I'd regret. Afterward, we didn't speak about it. No discussion. No meaning. Just a night I convinced myself could be erased. The next morning, Josh didn't text. No good morning, no joke to soften last night's fight. When I called, his phone went to voicemail. By evening, he still wasn't home. I paced, rehearsing excuses I hoped I'd never have to say aloud, telling myself there was no way he knew. But the guilt ate at me sharp and constant. 2 days passed. Then 3. His phone stayed off. His things were still in the apartment, but he wasn't. On the 4th day, someone knocked. My heart lunged. I thought it was him. It was his sister, Amy. Eyes swollen, jaw tight. He knows, she said. My stomach dropped. Knows what? I whispered, even though I already felt the truth clawing its way up my throat. Don't pretend, she snapped. One of his friends was at the bar. There are photos. He saw everything. It felt like the floor gave out under me. Where is he? I asked. Not here. And not coming back. She turned and left. Just like that. That night, I sent him a long message. Apologies, explanations, desperate confessions about how it meant nothing, how I still loved him. No reply. A week passed. Then another. I stalked his social media like a ghost looking for signs of life. Nothing changed. No posts. No messages. Like he'd vanished from the world I knew. Eric reached out once with a simple, "You okay?" I blocked him instantly. He was the last person I wanted in my orbit. 3 weeks after it all happened, I came home and found his keys on the kitchen counter. His clothes gone. His toothbrush gone. No goodbye note, just absence. I stared at those keys for what felt like hours, replaying every moment I insisted was no big deal. But to Josh, that moment was the end. I didn't hear anything from him until months later when a mutual friend mentioned seeing him holding hands with another woman at a coffee shop. I didn't ask a single detail about her. I didn't need to. Just imagining his smile, the smile that used to be mine, was enough to cut me open. That night, I sat alone in the dark wondering if she knew the truth, or if she believed I was just the unhinged ex who couldn't move on. I never reached out to him again. Never tried to justify anything. A part of me wanted to beg, to rewind time, to undo everything. But he had already chosen a world without me in it. And the worst part? I couldn't fault him. He trusted me. And I broke it. I kept telling myself that night didn't matter. But it had shattered everything for him. Eventually, I deleted his number. But the guilt stayed. It's strange how something you swear is meaningless grows heavier the longer you carry it. It reshapes you. Changes your outline. Leaves marks you can't scrub off. Sometimes I still walk by that bar. I can still taste the whiskey. Still feel Eric's hand on mine. And still hear the echo of a door that never opened again. One night. One choice. And years of love collapsed into silence. Sometimes you don't get closure. Sometimes you just learn to live with the quiet.